Lyrical rap didn't die, it just got quiet. Not extinct, just lurking. Patient, like a panther in the brush, waiting for the perfect moment to strike again. And now, that moment has arrived because something just happened in hip-hop that felt seismic. Not another viral TikTok sound, not another flashy gimmick from a Billboard regular. This was pure competition, raw penmanship, 3 wordsmiths, 3 different styles, and 1 shared purpose. To remind the culture that rap is a sport, not just a popularity contest. We're talking about Ab-Soul, Joey-Badass, Big Sean, 3 MCs who've paid dues, sharpened their pens, and walked the long road of credibility. And when they stepped into this cipher, it wasn't for clout, it was for blood. Not literal beef, not drama, just unfiltered lyrical warfare, the way it was always meant to be. And what unfolded was something hip-hop fans haven't felt in years. Authentic coast-to-coast tension, with bars flying like missiles. No flashy stage production, no auto-tuned hooks, no ghostwriters, just 3 rappers and over the course of this cipher, what we witnessed wasn't just a moment, it was a cultural shift. Because while the mainstream's been caught up in melodies and metrics, lyrical rap has been rebuilding its army in the shadows, and now the soldiers are marching back. And before we dive deeper into what just went down, do the culture a favor, tap that like, smash subscribe, and wake the algorithm up. Let YouTube know you're not here for fluff, you're here for bars. Because the game just changed. Let's rewind. At the start of 2024, Joey Bada raised eyebrows, not with a diss track aimed at clout, but with surgical, calculated jabs. Subtle shots at the West Coast, at Kendrick Lamar, at TDE. On tracks like The Ruler's Back and Sorry Not Sorry, Joey wasn't hiding his ambition. He was daring giants to respond, but nobody did, at least not right away. Then came this cipher, the moment fans didn't realize they were starving for, a live lyrical exchange between 3 decorated MCs. And not just anyone, Ab-Soul, one of TDE's most cryptic and complex lyricists, Big Sean, Detroit's punchline prince, and Joey, Brooklyn's golden child with something to prove. Each came into the cipher with baggage and bars. And what unfolded wasn't just rap, it was a statement. Because while fans love Kendrick's artistry or Cole's introspection, they've also been waiting for someone, anyone, to bring back that edge. That I want to out-rap you attitude that defined the genre's golden eras. This cipher brought it back and made it personal. Let's talk about Sean Don. For years, Big Sean's career has lived in a strange space. He's commercially successful, a household name, but when it comes to lyrical respect, he's always had something to prove. And in this cipher, he knew it. He stepped up first, an unenviable position. No warm-up act, no energy to ride, just a beat and a mic. But Sean did what Sean does. He delivered with confidence. His verse wasn't a declaration of war, but it set the tempo. Punchy, sarcastic, charismatic. He wasn't trying to bury anyone, but he was there to remind you why he's stood next to legends, why he belongs in the same room. Then he threw a shot. Your girl said I'd wash you, he smirked at Ab-Soul. Not a haymaker, but enough to raise eyebrows. And it worked, because seconds later, Ab-Soul stepped in with a quiet intensity and proceeded to take over the entire cipher. If you know Ab-Soul, you know he's not flashy. He doesn't chase hits, doesn't flood streaming platforms. He's cerebral, abstract, a wordsmith for the thinkers. But don't let that fool you, because when it comes to raw lyrical ability, Soul is a problem. And in this cipher, he was on a mission. He wasn't just rhyming, he was defending himself, defending Kendrick, defending Top Dawg Entertainment, a label with a decade-long reputation for grooming some of the best pens in rap. And Joey had poked that bear. Soul wasted no time responding to Joey's shots from earlier in the year. With a calm, calculated tone, he delivered layered bars referencing comic book mythology, underground kings, and wordplay so dense you needed to hit rewind 3 times. But then came the pivot. Joey, you put me in a sticky predicament. Had to show solidarity to my syndicate. It was more than a clever line, it was a mission statement. Soul made it clear this wasn't personal, it was principle. You come at TDE, you get all of us. He even referenced TDE's Ray Vaughn and Daylit, 2 rising threats in the lyrical scene who've already had words for Joey. And while Soul wrapped his verse in love and respect, he reminded Joey and anyone else this is a team sport and TDE doesn't back down. Let that breathe for a second, and then the beat shifted. Joey stepped up like a general walking into a battlefield of his own design. This wasn't a reply, it wasn't a rebuttal, it was a full-on offensive strike. If Sean was the warm-up and Soul was the response, Joey was the problem. He grabbed the mic and didn't just spit bars, he turned the cipher into a manifesto. Joey didn't just revisit the smoke he started in The Ruler's Back, or Sorry Not Sorry. He turned it into a full-on mission. First off, I could never hate the West Coast. But since you coming for Joe, F it, then let's go. No subliminals, no sneaky disses, direct confrontation. Joey made it clear. This wasn't East versus West. It was best versus best. And he wanted all the smoke. He invoked Kendrick's iconic Control verse, not just to pay homage, but to remind fans that he's cut from that same cloth. The same cloth that pushes rap forward. The same cloth that ignites the culture. And that line, there's still a bunch of sensitive rappers in the pajama clothes. That wasn't just a bar, that was a gut punch, a shot across the bow to every passive-aggressive rapper ducking lyrical confrontation in favor of aesthetics and algorithms. Joey wasn't just participating in a cipher, he was planting a flag. And then, in classic New York fashion, he made it plain, this ain't no East versus West, I just think that I'm the best. Matter of fact, I know. It was brash, it was bold, and it was hip-hop. This moment? It's not new. It's a throwback to an era when battles built legacies. When diss tracks weren't Twitter subs or IG captions, they were declarations of war. Think Nas versus Jay-Z, KRS-One versus MC Shan, LL Cool J versus Cannabis. These weren't PR moves, they were lyrical duels that pushed the culture forward. And now, Joey, Soul, and Sean just reminded the new generation that it's okay to compete. Scratch that, it's necessary, because rap was born from battle. From breakbeats and bravado, from MCs who weren't afraid to put their name and pen on the line. And for the past few years, fans have been begging for this energy. Not fake beef, not clout-chasing chaos, but actual lyrical tension, constructive war. That's what makes this cipher so important. It doesn't just deliver bars, it delivers hope. Hope that the next wave of rappers won't be afraid to step into the ring. Hope that lyricism isn't just for the niche crowd anymore. Hope that pen game matters again. And if this moment leads to more lyrical clashes, more competitive storytelling, we all win. Let's talk aftermath. Because Joey didn't just spit a verse, he launched a campaign. And TDE's not done. Daylit, one of the most unpredictable, untouchable pens in the game, has already teased a response. And if you know anything about Daylit, you know his verses are calculated explosion. No wasted syllables, no filler, just surgical dissection. And Ray Vaughn, a rising star, with fire in his lungs and hunger in his tone, he's got something to prove, and Joey just gave him the perfect excuse. This isn't a one-off moment, it's a chain reaction. Joey made himself the center of attention, the catalyst. And now every MC with pride in their pen has a reason to step up or shut up. This is Control all over again, but instead of just one verse, it's becoming a movement. And the craziest part, the man who started it all still hasn't said a word. Kendrick Lamar, the ghost in the cipher, he didn't write a verse, didn't post a tweet, didn't speak Joey's name, but he was everywhere in that room. His legacy, his presence, his influence, every bar, every line, every jab, Kendrick was the axis around which it all turned. And Joey knows it. He's not chasing clicks. He's chasing that moment, that response, that call and return that defined Kendrick versus Drake, that made Control a timestamp in history. And it's possible, if not likely, that Kendrick's watching, because this isn't a battle about beef, it's about skill, about the throne. And Kendrick, he sat on it quietly for years. But how long can the king ignore a challenger pounding on the gates? And when that moment comes, if it comes, it might be the greatest lyrical exchange of this generation. What Joey Bada did here is deeper than a cipher. He built a platform, one rappers can step onto without fear of being labeled a hater, one where dissing isn't dissing, it's sparring. It's iron sharpening iron. And this blueprint, it's exactly what the game needed, because every generation needs its spark, its wild moment, its "Osht, did you hear that verse?" moment. And if more rappers follow Joey's lead, not in disrespect but in competition, we might be entering a new golden era. No rules, no filters, just pens, mics, and pride. Let's not get it twisted. Every MC brought something to this site. Big Sean brought charisma and structure. Ab-Soul brought complexity and coded bars. And Joey brought the smoke, the energy, the heat that turned this moment from cool to cultural. So here's the question. Who won? That's on you. Drop your winner in the comments, share this video, start debates, rate the bars, break down the lines, because that's the beauty of this moment. It's ours. This isn't a corporate rollout. This is raw hip hop, unfiltered, unapologetic, unforgettable. So let's treat it like the historic shift it is. And if you haven't already, tap like, smash, subscribe, and stay locked in. Because the next lyrical explosion, it could drop any second. And when Kendrick finally enters the room, we'll be ready. 3 MCs, 1 cipher, and the entire rap world shifted. Joey Bada just fired the first shot, Absol just defended the crown, Big Sean lit the match, and now Daylit, Ray Vaughn, and maybe even Kendrick are circling. This isn't just hip-hop news. This is hip-hop history. Stick around, because the next video, we're diving into Daylit's upcoming diss, and trust me, you're gonna want to hear how deep this rabbit hole goes. Mike's still hot,